Peace, beautiful people. It's Letitia, and I am here to discuss some fun topics. I like to think I have an open mind, so I like to talk about topics such as cults, conspiracy theories, true crime, maybe some different movies and books and things like that. So today I'm going to get started with the movie Antebellum. And I'm gonna also intertwine in there how I think it's related to Octavia Butler's book called Kindred. And I'm just gonna get started. If you see me looking at my phone, it's because I took some notes while I was watching the movie. And I don't know, I just wanted to kind of point out certain things I thought was gonna happen, how I felt about the movie, and so forth. So I'm just gonna get started. I had mixed feelings about seeing this movie because of the slavery theme. And the trailer is very tricky because it shows so-called like present time, and then it also shows some people, some actors in like slavery clothing. So I was very skeptical, but I was kind of excited too because I love Janelle Monáe. So I was a little bit torn. However, during this whole quarantine and everything, I was interested in knowing like, oh, whatever happened to that movie? And I found out it was on TV. Long story short, I watched it. And it was a lot to begin with, like, because they showed a lot. It was very graphic, in my opinion, where I'm not going to say the words, but a lot of like brutal things were happening, and they showed all of it. So in my mind, I'm thinking, and just to let you know, there's going to be all the spoiler alerts. I'm going to talk about most of it. So if you haven't seen the movie, go rent it. I think it's like $19.99 on demand or something. I think it's mostly worth it. It immediately starts with the slavery period, and people getting captured, war happening in the background, all kinds of different things. And you're trying to figure out, okay, where is this going? Where is this going? Is this just a regular slave movie? Because if you didn't see the trailer, then you would kind of think that. But since I saw the trailer, I had so many different things in my mind, and I'll get into that. But it starts off in this slavery period on this plantation, and the people are just cruel, you know, all the stories you hear and all the normal things that you see in a slave movie. And to me, I'm a little bit sick of it because I'm like, why does Hollywood keep pumping those movies into our psyche? And I'm one of those people who usually refuses to see like those slavery movies and things like that, or like The Help. I just recently watched that because I was just not interested. But that's just me. Sometimes people like it, and that's fine, but we're all different. So anyway, in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, when is something going to change? When is something with a little like fantasy or sci-fi going to pop in? And I'll tell you my opinion beforehand. I really thought this movie was going to be like a time travel movie, and that's why I thought about Kindred. Or I thought it was going to be like parallel universes, and they're like the slaves were getting caught up between like present time and their time. I also thought about, let me see what I have in my notes. I also thought at first they were going to make it into a dream because she wakes up with the sound of the cell phone. I also have some theories about it too, because you notice on Janelle's, what is her name? Victoria Henley, PhD. You notice on her laptop that there's a butterfly, and then on the trailer, not the trailer, on the movie art or movie, whatever you call it, for their marketing, the butterfly is there as well. And if you're like me and you know about like some conspiracy theories and some that are not conspiracy theories, you know about MK Ultra and the whole monarch controlling projects and mind control and things like that. So if you know anything about that, I thought about that too, because in my mind I'm like, wait a minute, is this some kind of mind control where it's like, say 2020 and they are like using a code word and turning you into a slave, making you think you're back in that time? So I kind of thought there were so many different pathways, and the ending kind of shocked me. I know I kind of just went through it all, but let me touch upon some other things before I talk about the end. I also thought there was going to be some type of like magic, because when that, oh gosh, I'm so bad with names. I want to say her name was, when the pregnant woman came onto the plantation and like snuck into Victoria's cabin, it kind of made it seem as if like, oh, okay, she's like, oh, you can get us out of here. If anyone can get us out of here, you can, basically. So in my mind, I'm like, oh, is she gonna do something like magical and be like a magical, like Harriet Tubman or something like that? So that was just another thing. I also think that this movie could be a sequel. So, and I'll tell you why. Well, I'll go back and forth, but in the end, obviously, you see that she escapes, and it ends up being a Civil War reenactment park in Louisiana. It's kind of believable, but in a way it's a little disappointing, because I guess I wanted more sci-fi. And to me, it just seemed like, it just kind of felt a little bit flat. Like, I think it was a good movie, but to me, it just felt a little bit flat. In my mind, I thought when Victoria was back in her hotel room, they went to a flashback. I really thought that the overseers or the people who were like the fake Uber, I thought they were coming from like a parallel universe to get her back to another universe where slavery still existed. So, but that was just a flashback essentially of her kidnapping. And okay, I guess. But some comparisons that I'll make, definitely like Get Out and Us, you can tell that they're made by the same people. Even if you didn't know who it was written by, you can see like those themes of themes about race, themes about things that are hidden, things that could be considered conspiracy theories, because with Us, I think that's connected to like cloning. With Get Out, I think that is directly connected to MK Ultra and more. And then with this one, again, MK Ultra and I don't know, racism, obviously. So the way that I connected it to my favorite author, Octavia Butler's Kindred, is Dana, the main character, time travels. Her and her husband, she's black, he's white, live in the 70s, and they somehow get caught up in some kind of portal that makes them time travel back to when blacks were in slavery, were enslaved. So it's a very interesting thing. She is there, I don't want to ruin it if you haven't read it, so no, I'm going to talk about things because that's the whole point. She time travels back and she has to think of ways to keep herself alive, one, and to help one of her ancestors that she doesn't even realize is her ancestor until like a different part of the book. But he's white, and it's very challenging, obviously, to be a black woman who, you're from the 70s. She had a short haircut. She goes back in time wearing pants, so it's very strange when white people do see her. So she has to play the part and keep herself alive. Now, her white husband does also come back in time with her at different points, and he poses as her owner. It's just a very fascinating book, and whenever I recommend Octavia Butler, I always say read Kindred first, but she has like so many amazing books, and I'll talk about them maybe in another video. But other than that, I think they did a good job. Like I said, I think they left it open to possibly make a sequel. Like at the end, the general was like, it's not over. And I think there's opportunities where, if it happened there, are there other networks of this hidden slavery? And you can connect it to different things that are going on now with the whole, I don't even know if I can say this on YouTube, but like the whole trafficking thing in present time. So I think that if they wanted to do a sequel, they still could. But other than that, I just think it was a cool movie that had Janelle Monáe, Veronica Henley as like their main character, and she's a black woman, which is amazing. And I thought, you know, that's like just like Octavia Butler. And also, I didn't really mention, I'm a huge Janelle Monáe fan, and when she first came out, like if you've been a fan of her since her very first album, you will know that she had that character like Cindy Mayweather, and on her albums, her first 2 albums, I want to say, she told a story, and she should make it into a movie, I think, but she told a story about Cindy Mayweather and how, you know, she wanted to be human, she wanted to be loved, and it was very like cool. And I always pictured Janelle Monáe being in like a sci-fi Afrofuturism movie, so I thought this was perfect for her. The other acting, her best friend Dawn, loved her character, and I don't want to butcher her name, so I'm not even going to try to say her name. Gabby, I think? So, I don't know. Anyway, I think that was a great character. They didn't really go into much character development with her husband and her daughter, so there wasn't much there. I thought they were going to add them in somehow into the slavery portions, but that was when I thought it was a parallel universe. So, I mean, it still could have worked. All of them could have gotten kidnapped, but it was an interesting movie. It really was, and I think I'm still sick of the whole slavery narrative, but this was a cool one. I would recommend it, but like I said, there's a lot of like triggering scenes and very like graphic parts, so I wouldn't watch it with kids or anything. And that's pretty much it. Let me know if you've seen Antebellum, and I hope you like, subscribe, and share this video. I am a new channel, and it would be amazing if you just let me know in the comments what other types of videos or topics you'd like to see. Like I said, I'm interested in kind of like paranormal, true crime, conspiracy videos, and just talking about my opinion and different perspectives and things like that. So I hope you have a great day. Thanks for watching.